Hello, welcome everybody to our Serving Patrons with Dementia Rails Networking Group meeting. My name is Tina Williams from the White Oak Library District. We serve the communities of Crest Hill, Lockport, and Romeoville. And my partner in crime is David Kelsey. David, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm David Kelsey. I'm from the St. Charles Public Library in St. Charles, Illinois, and our libraries outreach services team serves St. Charles Library District, which covers St. parts all of St. Charles, parts Wayne, South Elgin, and parts of West Chicago.
Okay. And we created this group 10 years ago. And the main gist of what we try to do is just to share as many stories and resources as we can. There's always tidbits in what people share that really go far, and plant those seeds and have those kernels go out and really, get us out there. Um, like I was saying before we hit record, is Hattie Finnerty from the Alzheimer's Association normally joins us. She's unable to be here today, but she will be joining us in our future programs. But we do have Mary Beth Reiner with us. And Mary Beth was one of the first people who we met that started talking to us about, can we start a group and start the discussion? So we are very grateful that Mary Beth is here today, and then she's also here to help us learn more and represent the LSDA group from American Library Association. So Mary Beth, do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on there?
Well, thank you. This is the time when all the leadership changes in interest groups, at least in ours. So actually, I'm going to be the chair again. I've been off for a couple of years. So I'm going to be the chair, and then we have a past chair, and someone has chosen, Alan Kleeman has agreed to be the chair-elect, and we have several other people to volunteer. So that's great. So we have a group going that's going to continue. Um, and we did present, or we had a meeting actually at ALA in June. And we had maybe 30 people show up. So, and a couple of people gave us their email addresses, but I don't know if we've reached out to them or not because I'm just taking over the chair. Um, yeah, and I also am the creator of the Tales and Travel Memories programs, the Memories and Adventures programs, which originally were with the Elgin Public Library, but now I'm kind of on my own. So that's me.
Wonderful. Do you want to share, if people are interested in joining LSDA, what they need to do?
Well, really, there's no membership kind of thing, and there's no fee, of course. We just have our actually one of our mailing lists has just been dissolved because it was with Library Juice, and they aren't supporting their mailing list anymore. So it's just LS4DA Google group or on ALA Connect, and that's called LSDA. So those are.
Wonderful.
I'll put the link to the website in the
Great.
chat.
Thank you. So, and I'm also going to put in the chat Hattie's information. So if anybody wanted to reach out directly to her, because not only does she join our group and do amazing things with the Alzheimer's Association, she's also our library contact, that if you needed a program from the Alzheimer's Association coming into your library, she would be the person that we would be contacting to set that up. So if you had those types of questions, you could direct them to her. Okay. All right. So David and I met at an ABOS conference, so the Association of Bookmobile Outreach Services, and that's where we started this conversation. And the ABOS conference is annually in October. It's coming up and it's going to be in Columbus, Ohio this year. We're wondering how many of you are either going, presenting, if your topic has something to do with serving this population. If anybody would like to share about ABOS and if you're doing anything that pertains to this.
And I just put the link to ABOS in there as well.
So I know a couple of people have put in the chat that they're attending. I know I'm attending. David's attending. So far, it doesn't look like anybody's presenting. Mary Beth, do you have a presentation this year? No. Okay. Who is the organization that normally comes to is it Reading to Succeed? Is that what
So
it's called?
I think was it Reading to Connect was one of them?
Reading to Connect, yes. So
Yeah.
they're one of the organizations that typically comes to ABOS, and they usually present then too, so that they'll have information there. Thorndike is another great resource for people who are working with those with dementia. And they'll also be at ABOS.
Meternally.
Meternally. How did I forget? Yes, Meternally will be there. Meternally actually started as a spinoff. They actually bought all the rights and things from, help me, David. I'm thinking Bowling
No,
Bag, but that's not the
bifocal,
name of the company.
no, I was thinking the same thing too. It's the bifocal kits. I'm putting the link
Bifocal,
in
thank you.
bifocal. I'm the same way. We know what it is. That's the link just so everybody knows of all the sponsors that'll be there. I just put that link in there. It's the bifocal kits, and they do the we call them tube thingamabobs, with the I Spy things for people with
The
dementia as
different
well. The
sensory,
different
right?
sensory objects. That's what I'm thinking of. They
Yes.
both came out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have a lot of different tools that we can utilize and purchase. They also are great to work with because they too are looking for, like, what is it that we need? They're great for working with, so that if there's something that they can help develop that'll make our lives easier when we're helping our patrons, whether we're doing it on site through kits or with their caretakers, or if we're bringing things off site, they're a great resource too. Anything else about ABOS?
Other than if you are interested in going, rooms are filling up fast. So if you're interested in going, they still have hotels booking up. So
Yeah, because the hotel that we're staying at, there are some dates and things that are completely canceled out. So you'd have to get to a nearby. Okay, so then besides ABOS, we were talking about LSDA, which leads us into ALA. And David and I were talking, we think it would be great if anybody can share experiences if you went to the ALA conference that was just in Chicago. If you had any kind of experience there that you wanted to talk about that pertains to serving patrons with dementia. Was anyone able to attend and then attend any of the sessions?
Actually, I did present a poster about the Reader's Advisory Forum for people with dementia. The poster seemed to be kind of hidden this year. There weren't a ton of people attending, and we only had 2-hour slots. But yeah, quite a few people came through. So that was. I can send out the poster to the Rails group if you'd like to see it,
that'd be awesome.
or I can put a link to it here. Yeah.
That would be great. And I agree. I think the posters were hidden because I went looking and I had a really hard time finding them and had to ask a couple of people. They weren't where they normally had been.
Yeah,
So
then normally with the vendors on a corner by the vendors, and yeah, we were up to the second floor somewhere. I'm not sure. It was hidden.
Did anybody else attend and able to attend any of the sessions?
I attended and was able to make it to one of the sessions about providing programs for caretakers. I do not have the notes with me, so I cannot remember the woman's name specifically. I don't have them right in front of me. But she did a great job helping us remember that there's caretakers at every stage, those who are just thinking about maybe having to become a caretaker, those actively caretaking, and those who may be going through loss or grief post caretaking. So she had some wonderful resources and things, and I will go look for her website while we're chatting, and I'll send it in the chat as well. There was also another great program about reading with dignity, but our train was delayed, so I didn't get in early enough to the city. So, but they had great notes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Does anybody want to speak to, we also talk about dementia friendly and the work that they're doing with libraries and communities. Does anybody want to speak to that?
Hi. Elmhurst, where I work, just became dementia friendly this month. So we'll see how it's impacted. My colleague and I, who's also here, Rachel, we run the Memory Cafe. So I'm unsure of what it will look like, but it is very exciting to be dementia friendly.
So I know we were approached by some of our police talking about, hey, has anybody had the conversation about becoming dementia friendly? And before COVID, I was part of a committee and we all talked about it, and then COVID hit, and so no one has brought the topic up again. But what they said is, instead of becoming dementia friendly, they said there's a trend happening that they're talking about starting that's called age friendly, having an age friendly community. So it's not just dementia, but it encompasses dementia. Has anyone else been talking about becoming an age friendly community and what that entails?
I could jump in. It's Glenna from Gale Borden. Hi.
Hey, Glenna.
Elgin. Hi. So Elgin is a dementia-friendly community, and to become an age-friendly community, there are just a few in the state that are both. Age-friendly is associated with the AARP, and it typically works off of 7 different pillars that include a much broader spectrum. They get into things like transportation and ADA access throughout a municipality, that kind of thing. Whereas dementia friendly, of course, is focused on just serving the caregivers and those who are living with dementia. So it's a much broader thing, but there's much more money involved in terms of support if you do decide to go the route of becoming an age-friendly community. So that's just kind of a little bit on the surface that I can gladly share.
Awesome, thank you. Wonderful, thank you. Anyone else? So if you're not following the chat, there's a lot of resources being posted, and that'll be part of what we're able to record and post too. So also we talk about National Council on Aging, and Illinois and Northeast Illinois each have a division of that too. A lot of us work closely with those different departments. Does anyone have resources or information to share about what's coming up with them that would pertain to what we're doing?
Tina, does this mean the age guide, the AAA organization? Is that what you're talking about, or is it?
That's part of what they do. Yes.
Okay, because I just got an email from them. They have a community needs assessment as of June 2026. I don't know how many of you saw that. And there were a couple of interesting things. Let me see if I can find them. Because they had like at least 10 different areas that they had focus groups and surveys and things like that on. 2 of them really applied to libraries, and one of them, one of the categories was information. And it said older adult and stakeholder listening session participants believe that increasing awareness of the available community services and resources is an extremely important need. Older adults suggested information about services should be distributed in print format. Sounds like a library. And so they're not, and libraries was never mentioned in this. So, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up was social interactions. Older adults felt that faith communities Senior service agencies and senior centers offer a sense of community. Again, libraries were not in that. So we need to do a better job of projecting what we're doing and what we can offer, I think. The AAA's, I mean, I forget the name of the woman at the one at Age Guide. Maybe she's changed too. This was produced by Mindy Schneiderman. Does that ring a bell to you? No.
Mm-mm.
Who do you usually work with at Age Guide?
I'd have to look at my list.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody else have a name? I'd have to look at my contact list and
I don't
see.
know if it's the same one. And that's, Glenna, that's when we started doing, well, you weren't there. We started doing Tales and Travel. We had a good connection with the AAA Age Guide at that time.
Right. That was Colette, and she now has retired and moved to Arizona, actually.
Oh, okay.
And
I'll
then
see
there's
her there.
also, yes, you could. There's also Elaine, spelled with an A, Alyane. I can't think of her last name right now, but I know they've had a few shifts lately. And I would just add, when we're talking about Age Guide, that is the AAA, the Area Agency on Aging, that serves the Kane County area. And then for the collar counties outside of Chicago, if you are in Cook outside of Chicago, that would be Age Options for your AAA. And there is a map that you can find. Northern Illinois is another of the AAAs that serves up around the DeKalb, Rochelle area. So you would just want to find out within your county which one your AAA is. They've been highly supportive of the work that we've done for dementia-friendly Elgin area and also for our library work. They often come and participate in senior events. Like if we have a senior resource fair, they come and they bring information. So it's really nice to hook up with your local AAA for that type of purpose.
This survey was actually done by a PhD, survey research consultant. So it wasn't done, with someone who was actually living it, I guess.
Yeah, and they actually by law have to put those out every year. So each of the AAAs are doing those assessments every year. So they work with a lot of different groups to gather their information.
Yeah. There's room for libraries, though, is what I'm.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, when we have an annual senior fair in our township, and I had approached them because they were encouraging people at the expo to fill out these surveys. And exactly what you're talking about, because they said, oh, yeah, we do this annually. We try and gather as much data as we can. And so I said to them, I said, well, have you worked with your local libraries to try and get this out? I said, we do a lot of work with the older adults, not only in the library, but outside of the library too. And we do home deliveries and we work with the caretakers. We do all these different avenues, that we can help assist to make sure that the survey is including their opinions. And so that was something that was very eye-opening to this group that I spoke to, because they had not even thought of us, as Mary Beth is saying. So yeah, so I think having those conversations whenever you can, when you see these organizations, I don't know how many of you have local type of expos, but I make sure when have a table at the expos, we go around to all the other organizations and be like, hey, what can the library and what can we do for each other? But a lot of times it's eye-opening to them, what they can do with us. So I encourage you to do that.
I just wanted to let you know, I know you mentioned you weren't sure about an age guide contact, and I was able to reach someone named Emily Ferenc. I put her contact information in the chat, so I know she serves DuPage County for sure. And if you're age guide, that's a direct contact you can use.
I know I was looking, ours is Val Guzman, but again, it's just for our area. So everyone's probably better off just looking at the website and then being able to find. Yeah, David's listed the locator one, so everybody can find their local group, their local contact.
Yeah, I did have a question. I know the main resource that Age Guide has been promoting from our area was the Trualta Caregiver Forum. And I didn't know if anyone was using that or aware of that. service. I know that Age Options also has a True Alta.
Glenna, do you know what that is? I don't even know what that is.
That I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I've not heard of that.
I can see if I can find it, but it's some local area agencies on aging around, I believe, the country are using a free caregiver forum for education, and like it's all geolocated. So like you would only be able to use the True Alta for your area agency on aging. And I know when I reached out to Emily, like I posted, I was asking about flyers for True Alta. And it seems like they have like weekly classes, and like they'll send you frequent emails about different topics, and you can take different classes on caregiving.
Okay.
So, and then I know in a related kind of fashion, I noticed, and maybe I don't think you said Hattie was here, but the Alzheimer's Association seems to be switching more to like their app. It seems like there seems to be a big push there for more of the app and web-based caregiving resources.
I do remember this now. I just Googled True Alta. It says is an online education and support platform designed for family caregivers. I remember the conversation that we had at that time with our rep, Elaine. Our concern as a library was this is an online forum that does not vet the people that are joining that group. Maybe they've changed things now, but our big concern was that is a prime target for people who want to come on and learn information about seniors and then scam them at best. That would be the best case. There are worse things that could happen. That was a real concern to us when they were considering putting something like that in place. There were big discussions at the time about who should be offering programs to the seniors. Should that come through the area agencies on aging because they're the people who handle the money? When we all pay our taxes in, it goes into a great big Illinois bucket, and part of that bucket goes to seniors in Illinois, and that gets parsed out to each of the different counties across our state, actually nationally. This is a national program to have your area agency on aging. So then once our local area agencies on aging receive that money, they can determine what best serves the people in their community. So like Nevada is the only state that doesn't have this same format. But you know, if you're in a different state up north, you might have different needs than what people have down south, et cetera. So it's a good idea overall. And so they had forums to ask for our input. So that was a big input that we as a library shared was, how are you, when you put these online programs on, making sure that you are not opening the door for predators to walk in? So whether they have resolved that or not, I haven't followed over the past years, but that was something that maybe we check, you know, before referring customers to use that kind of thing, just to be on the safe side. So it's a great
that's
concept
good to look
bring
into.
peers together, but then it may really open the door to something that could be bad.
Yeah. You know, part of the conversation I just had with another group of people, they were very upset with their home library, who was in a different part of Illinois, because they felt like they had gone to a program and they felt like it was the company and the business trying to sell themselves and trying to sway you into making decisions for the people you were caring for who had dementia. Like, oh, you should, you know, like swaying them into how they should care for them and where, like, what services they should provide them. It wasn't like a holistic approach. It wasn't, here are the options. It was more of, they were selling their business. And they said, you know, we went to the library because we thought that they were already vetted and that they wouldn't try to sell us something, that kind of thing. So that's why it's so important, like Glenna was saying, to really make sure that whoever you go with, that you are using vetted people, that there's a clear understanding when you're hosting a program that it's for them to bring resources and information, not to sell themselves. And Yeah, because people do put their trust in us, and I've really put my trust in like the Council on Aging and the Alzheimer's Association and things, because my assumption is they've already vetted what's going on and it's been tried and true. So if we bring them into the library, it's a great resource, and we know we don't have to worry about them being preyed on or them being swayed into making medical decisions or caretaking decisions. That can be really scary for people. So it's important that we take that role seriously.
I think like Tina said, there are so many for profit, or you might not in the sales pitch that there's like the amount of people sometimes I call them home care providers for profit that want the library to endorse their home care services outside the other 15 or 20. And the amount of times they would stop by and say, can we give you some from brochures? I'm like, you can give them to me, but I can't endorse, like, the St. Charles Library's outreach services team only recommends to go. That's what they want. And they want to do a program. And they're like, we're not going to do a sales pitch. And I say, sadly, we do not do sales pitches. They're like, well, it would be an educational program. Well, it wouldn't just be you be as a representative from that for-profit business. No. And but sometimes they're relentless because they think that we can endorse it. And that's a no. And it's so I was like, I'll take your free candy that you're giving me, but I said I can't endorse it, or you can't do a program. And sometimes they're relentless because that's how they get their business. And sometimes they could be come with you to a senior facility. No, but that's why, because they think that seniors think that we are endorsing these people, and that's a no. There's always a hidden backdoor option.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that my colleague Rachel and I talk about a lot because she does a lot more of the kind of caregiving side. So she gets a lot more of the inquiries from companies. We do put a lot of thought into making sure we don't endorse any for-profit agencies. But now that we've kind of talked about True Alta, I will go back and double check. I know I did mess around with it a little bit, but I think since it had the Area Agency on Aging backing, I maybe willfully assumed there wasn't
Right.
any predatory
Rightfully so.
action.
Rightfully so. So yeah.
But we'll take a look at it again, and I'm really glad we brought it up. And I appreciate this collaboration between all of us that kind of do similar things.
Team effort.
Absolutely. I have another one that I can share. This happened just this year. In Elgin, a group called Senior Expo USA got booked over at our Elgin Center in the Heritage Ballroom. And because we have a really close-knit community, we all started saying, wait a minute, what is that? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. We run our own senior expo that happens at Elgin Community College, and it consists of all the different organizations that are local, and they have their true interest at heart for seniors. When they work through the library, they know that we have a resource table at the back of the room. Same thing at Dementia Friendly Elgin Area's Memory Cafe, same thing. Their materials go on that back resource table. They are not allowed to hand any materials to anyone. If anybody wants to collect information, that's what the library does. We make that available, but we're not endorsing, like David said. Well, this group called Senior USA Expo is a corporation that has titled itself Senior Expo so that people will come out thinking they're getting local resources. They have coupled with a number. You can go on their website and see all the other corporations that they've partnered with on medical services, in-home healthcare, all kinds of things. Who's vetting this? We don't know, but we know for sure it's not anything having to do with the library or anybody who does vet all these things. So watch out for Senior Expo USA. Somebody knows what they're doing, and we just have to stay a step ahead of it. I had to announce that at our Elgin Area Memory Cafe to our seniors. And, we also can't say don't go as a library. That's not our job either. But sharing straight out factual information, we can definitely do that. So
Knowledge is power, and then you make the decision.
Yep. I was floored, though. Somebody really knows what they're doing on that one. Man, oh man.
It's amazing the amount of as with most technology, not all technology is good if it's used well. The amount of more spam calls we all get since the introduction of AI the last 8 months or so, and the amount of senior scams that have been happening. And I've had patrons call and said, because, back even in the 90s, there was this Friends episode where Phoebe's working in an office where supplies as a telemarketer, Phoebe. And back then, now telemarketer calls are called from anywhere in the United States through AI voice and everything like that. So people are so used to picking up the phone, thinking it's a real person and not a fake voice and stealing money. And that's happening so much more. I had a patron that calls us, who's this John calling me constantly? And people don't know, and they're preying upon older adults. And with those with memory loss, I've noticed that a lot more, the amount of spam
Yeah.
calls that
I will
happen.
say, I did notice with iPhones at least, you can like move all unknown callers into a separate folder, and you won't get any notifications on your phone, and you can review them later. So there are like, I think that the big
Which is,
phone companies are making some
yeah.
adjustments to
Yeah, and
make it
I'm glad somebody else, one of my somebody at mentioned that to me as well, and I think that's great because you just assume that someone's calling you, and then 100%, and that's the sad thing is preying upon technology is great when it's used well, but knowledge is power.
Yeah, I talked to a patron about they wanted to get for their parents who both parents have dementia. They're living in an assisted living situation. They wanted them to have a phone, but they were afraid for the reasons we're talking about. And they talked about getting like one of those child lock phones where it's like you're only allowed to get incoming and outgoing calls to whatever's on that contact list. And so it was very similar conversations I think we're going to be having with people, like what do we know in technology that can help safeguard people? I think that's going to become a more common type of a conversation we have with people.
Oh, another quick one to add to that is what happened to my father-in-law. This is somebody who was very tech savvy. He was an international sales rep for the medical industry, and he actually helped design medical X-ray equipment and CT scans, etc. He thought that he was going to get some help for his Apple phone, and so he just looked up their phone number and gave a call to their support team because he worked on a support team. It was a fake phone number. And so if we can pass that information out along to all of our seniors that this is also something that's happening, and it's a way that people are, even if you feel that you're tech savvy and you've been doing fine, here's a new one. And so he lost $2,500 on that one. So yeah, that was unfortunate because he believed what they were saying because he had placed the call. So it's just one more way. So if we can all kind of help get that word out too, that's another one.
I just did that yesterday with AT&T. We at home, real quick story, I have not had internet since July 5th. A neighbor's tree fell on the lines. Okay. ComEd came out same day, fixed it. AT&T has not been out yet. So I've been talking to all different people trying to get this resolved. And here I am yesterday. Someone calls me, identifies themselves as AT&T, starts talking about different products and was like, is there anything else we can do to help you? And I was like, well, yeah, I've been trying to call and not even like thinking because I'm so wrapped up in making all these phone calls, right? And not even thinking. And they went to ask me for my PIN. And all of a sudden, just something in my head was like, wait, they called me, but it came up as a scam. And I'm like, you know what? I said, I will need to call you back. I said, what's the best number to call? What's this ticket number? And then it was like, all of a sudden it dawned on me like, oh, this was like, this was not. So luckily I had enough wits about me to not be so wrapped up in what's been going on to do that. But I know my mom last year, she had done that. She gave out her 4-digit code and all of a sudden all the phones changed and everything. So yeah, I mean, it could be so tricky. It could be so tricky. And, whether it's AI or the fraud scams, the things going on, one of the best things that we can know as a resource for libraries is through AARP. They have their whole fraud network that not only do they try and keep up with the different scams going on to keep ourselves educated, but they're also the best place in the nation to report when we see trends and things going on too. Does anyone else have any stories with those different types of vendors through the state and that we're talking about that you want to share?
Tina, I forgot, I did not go to ALA, but I forgot a colleague brought me a bookmark. And I just wanted to share the Elder Justice Task Force. Has anyone heard about that? It's a part of ALA and it's a part of the Social Responsibilities Roundtable. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat because the bookmark has a survey that the University of North Carolina School of Library and Information Science is doing to help train future librarians on working with older adults. So
Yeah, I saw that. I was so excited, but it's a large time commitment. So if anyone's interested, just know like you have to get permission from your library and it's a pretty big time commitment. But if anybody can do it, that would be awesome. Yes, thank you. That's a good one to
Brooke, you're
share.
done with ABOS now. I'm gonna sign you up with that, okay?
oh sure.
Your
Sure,
9 years of
David.
ABOS are done. I'll put your name on the list. I'll go in.
Oh, please don't nominate me.